Another day, another costume. Well, this was in the last episode at this point, but... Badoop badoop. Hello, I am back to finally do the busy work of what is solo questing. Listen, I've been very busy having a very big backlog. I am ahead on things now, which is generally good. But I just did not have free time to do single-player Final Fantasy XIV for a while. Badoop badoop. Alright. The Machinist's Choice. So we're currently in Shadowbringers, and I still need to finish the Stormblood story arc. I previously did the A Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward story arc, which, since this class wasn't in the original game, I think was just kind of merged into one overall arc. But then they would then do one at a time after that. Zev, how fortuitous that you should choose this moment to visit. Pray forgive my abruptness, but are you acquainted with Ishgard's watch and the commoners who fill its ranks? I'm so far removed from Ishgard at this point. Truly, you've worked with Hilda before. Splendid, absolutely splendid. Let us discuss the problem at hand. Following our fair city's shift to a more egalitarian form of government, there's been a talk of arming the city watch with machinist weapons and equipment. The very type of initiative for which I have long advocated, and as part of this plan, I have been asked to provide a competent instructor. But as dearly as I wish to fulfill this request of Hilda's, I am afraid suitable candidates for the role are in woefully short supply. Surely you've heard news of Alamigo's liberation, yes? Well, the aftermath of that little conflict has seen the manufactory swamped with commissions for both material and marksmen. And I have not a single machinist to spare. I was even forced to relinquish Joy, my indispensable right-hand woman, to some far-flung deployment. And so, Zeb, you must see why your presence here this day strikes me as something of a godsend. Who better to accept this position than our most accomplished machinist? I understand, of course, that you have your own business to attend to. You can hardly spend every waking moment training the watch. Thus do I intend to share your duties with our old friend Rosenthal. Aside from his extensive knowledge of firearms, he was once the Commodore of the Knights of the Barracuda. Such experience should prove invaluable to the watch's leadership. He is the natural choice to serve as your partner in this enterprise. From what I've been told, our former instructor was recently spotted arriving in Idleshire. Pray come along, Zev, and lend me a hand in persuading the foul-mouthed brigand to return to Ishgard. This guy is somehow literally always retiring. And they just want to think I'm out. They keep pulling me back. I don't even know what that's from. Keep pulling me back in. Probably I've never seen that movie. What is it, Rambo? Have you seen this place, Zev? My perspectometer is simply overloaded by such potential. Why, the goblin technology amassed in the main square alone could keep me tinkering for days. Not that we'll be here nearly that long. Rosenthal is a striking fellow. Someone is bound to have noticed him. Shall we ask around? Walking Atlas. I am a guide. Can I interest you in a guided tour of... Oh, just a question. I've seen such a man. He was just walking down this street, as a matter of fact. Which street? Oh, right, we can use Mans here. Unusual for the inside of a town. Joys. Ah, big lad with an eye patch, yes? I marked his passage as I would that of any dangerous beast. Stay your path and you'll find him like as not. Oops, I'm dancing. I pulled the wrong trigger. I've seen your man. Headed into the hard place he was, all swarthy and mysterious like. Had half a mind to follow him in there. over in here. Ah, I see you've kept one step ahead of me, Zev. At least this time our dear instructor was not so damnably difficult to locate, eh? I thought I heard me some familiar voices. Now what brings you the two of you all the way out here? Not just a yearning to glimpse this ugly mug again, that much is certain. Astute as always, my friend. We have, in fact, come with an offer of employment. You want me to teach trigger work again? Bugger that. Why don't you have Joy do it? Joy is far too humble to fare well as an instructor and is fully occupied by other manufacturing business besides. You also have considerable business with commanding a military company, if I am not mistaken. Are you bloody daft, or did you just forget? The piss-poor leadership or the kudos was what ruined me reputation in the first place. Do you honestly reckon a man like me is fit to take charge of training your city watch? Well, if you haven't the stones for it. You trying to pickle me pride, lad? Bah! You seem damn determined to not let an old pirate sit and rust in peace. Then this means you'll accept. Trim your sails, there, boss. I'll make me the final decision after I've had a chat with this what needs the watch. Someone who I coincidentally I think gave the exact same questionable accent impersonation. It seems you must arrange a meeting with Hilda. Would you mind handling the introductions? My thanks. Now I really should get back to the workshop. I have a small mountain of munitions to make, if I'm to honor all the commissions. Do the manufactory proud, my friends. Bye. And just when I was getting bleeding warm again. I'll see you in Ishgard, Zev. Don't know why I'm walking outside when all I gotta do is click this shit. Is it actually buy foundation this time? Gasp. Shocked and appalled. Just a strange moment. Still around. Yeah, she is right by here. This is where we left her. MMO characters do like to just stand there forever. I mean, imagine how much more frustrating it would be to play this game if they wandered around like they were in a Bethesda game. No, I just feel like I go hunting on Tuesdays, I disappear into a zone and don't tell anyone. Are we clear, or must I repeat myself in simple terms? I expect very little from your low-born riffraff. If you wish to serve Ishgard, then know your place, and keep well out of our way. Bastard blue blood. He'd not wag his tongue like that if his boss was around. And a fine day to you, Zev. A little bird told me to be on our way. On your way. You'd be on your way. Good job. The lads and lasses were well pleased to hear they'd be learning at the foot of Ishgard's savior. That's me. Johnny No Shirt. Listen, this guy wanted to have a giant open V on his jacket, so I outdid him by having a V so wide that it goes past my shoulders. And you must be Rosendahl, eh? I'll warn you right now, the Watch is a raw lot. They ain't used to formal training, and you'll need to work 'em hard before you count 'em for more than cannon fodder. Work 'em hard, you say? I do things the pirate way, lass. I'll have 'em pissing blood and wailing for their moms by first bell. We'll see about that. I don't know about Limsa's back alleys, but the Broom's not a place what suffers wilting daisies. What my lot lack in skill, they make up for in spirit. Trying to do any kind of voice while also reading this weird-ass dialogue is just so fucking difficult, but I can't just read every character in the same voice. Ha! I like a challenge. Now tell me more about how this watch of yours fits into Ishgar's defenses. Well, we're officially back in the arms of the Eorzea Alliance, ain't we? If the Temple Knights are marched out to deal with some crisis, the streets will be left a touch thin on soldiers. That's where the Watch comes in. We've been something of an independent operation till now, but the houses want to put us on the payroll. They mean to use our numbers to plug the holes in the walls, as it were. And the best part, we get paid to do more what we was doing for naught. Coin in our purses and food in our bellies. Can't complain about that. Aye, but the arrangement's not to everyone's liking. There's inquisitors and nobles alike, looking to trip us up at every turn. They ain't keen on the idea of commoners being armed and organized. I reckon the only way to shut those bastards down is by convincing everyone else that the Watch is something worth keeping. And if we mean to prove ourselves, we need proper equipment and training. That's why I took most of the coin we'd been given, and went begging to Lord Helenart. Now we have firearms and 2 clever blighters to teach us how to use them. Aye, I've heard enough. You can't properly protect folk what don't recognize your authority. Just do as old Rosenthal says, and we'll soon teach them bastards to respect you. Here's what we're gonna do first. Gather a crew of your finest lads and lasses and slap a name on them. One what'll get them naysayers to sit up and take notice. What? You mean an elite company like the Dragoons or the Heavens Ward? I reckon a good name might impress some of the highborn, but I'll be buggered if I can think of one. Well, let's see. How about Hilda's Hounds? Oh, you mean Hilda's Hounds? Well, I do like the sound of that. What do you say, lads? I have a tattoo marking things just shaved into my head. I don't make the best choices. As soon as you've handpicked a crew of the Hounds, I'll start teaching them the basics. Then after they've had a chance to learn barrel from stock, you can come back and test their skills. Sound like a fair division of labor? Right then, I'll whip into shape before you know it. Let's just see how tough these broom-born bastards really are. Come back when you're level 63. I am! The hunting heist. What? Come to see how we're doing, then? Aye, well, there ain't much to test yet. Things are coming along, but progress is bloody slow. Not one of these buggers adds the flair for the ions what ye or Joyce showed. Ha! We'd best let them get back to it, then. I have a different favor to ask of you, Zev. The Watch has been tasked with its first big job, standing guard at the Temple Knight's investiture ceremony. The ceremony is an important event, and setting the Watch to, well, watch over it is a gesture what's meant to embody the new spirit of harmony between highborn and lowborn. Lucia didn't honey her words. She said that making a mess of this duty is like to harm our reputation beyond saving. The Hounds will be knocked down before they even take their first steps. But getting back to that favor, there's to be a meeting to discuss security concerns for the event, and I want you sitting in on it. You see, the representative from the Temple Knights is the kind of bloke what has me itching to shoot him in the teeth. pompous bastard by the name of Muscadane. If you're there, I might just be able to keep my trigger finger under control. Thanks, Zev. I appreciate the support. I'll see you at the congregation then. Speaking of places where you can't teleport. Oh, there's a stone right here, though. Nope, it's up here. Data one. It's the dickhead from Olia. We already had a snooty dickhead from earlier, but then we, like, proved ourselves to them, so now I have to introduce a new one. Ew. I was not informed. Zev's here is my advisor. I trust his advice a damn sight more than that of a certain empty-headed, stiff-backed blue blood. I will not dispute his place at this meeting. In fact, I would be far less inclined to entrust this duty to a certain foul-mouthed, disrespectful commoner were she not accompanied by such an advisor. Good start, y'all. Whoa. My apologies for the interruption, Sir Muscadane. I bear urgent news. Speak, then. Sir, a thief has breached the vault and stolen the sacred blade of hunting. What's that word? Hunting's the sword what's used to dub new knights, or so they tell me. But that place is crawling with guards. Hard to imagine how someone even managed to get in, let alone filch anything. It is unthinkable. The treasury doors were secured with 7 different locks. Sentries stand vigilant night and day. None can approach without notice. The sentries claim they were struck senseless. They later awoke to find the door to the treasury hanging open, but all the valuables secreted within... But of all the valuables secreted within, only the blade was missing. By all accounts, the entire incident took place over the span of a few short minutes. The burglar obviously had a plan and was very precise in its execution. You say that only hunting was taken. The loss of such a prominent symbol right before the ceremony bodes ill for Sir Americ's reputation. The Lord Commander cannot afford to have his authority eroded at this delicate stage, lest Ishgard once more fall prey to infighting and insurrection. We must reclaim the blade ere its disappearance becomes common knowledge. Ugh, I have not the time nor the nights to spare for this. Well, my hounds might be able to help you there, but that's the best the watch has to offer. I reckon they can keep their gob shut. Your ceremony is our time to shine, so we've a vested interest in seeing it go forward as planned. And there's no harm in getting on Sir Americ's good side, neither. What say we look into it? Do as you wish. With Zev's assistant, mayhap even your mob of commoners will see some modicum of success. Now, if you'll excuse me. What a prick. Highborn, lowborn relations are doing great. They're doing so good. Prickly bastard. You'd think he'd show a bit more bloody gratitude. Anyways, enough of that. We've a sword to find. We could begin by asking some questions, I reckon. Get your own idea of what happened. Ready to put up your Inquisitor robes? Good. Then I have the perfect bloke for us to talk to. I know a knight what took part in the raid on the vault a while back. He just so happens to be a captain of the Treasury Guard. Let's head to the Hoplin and see if our man's about. I'm glad that Hilda's back. She felt underutilized in the expansion she was actually in, and then I think we're just leaving her behind forever? So it's kind of neat that I coincidentally picked the class that interacts with her again. And she does have a gun on her back, so it seems like she's probably specifically this class? I assume? Where are we going here? Top of that area. Gotcha. There it is. I couldn't spot it. Like, I like her design, I liked her personality from what we saw, but she just doesn't have that big of a role to play in the grander scale, and I think they were probably just done with her. Mistress Zev and Mistress Hilda. Sir Muscadine told me to expect you. Huh. And I thought he'd no time to spare. So does this mean you're to help or hinder us? Why, to help you, of course. Here, material evidence from the scene. All 7 locks on the treasury door were destroyed, and this scrap of metal was found lodged in one of the keyholes. The impacts crushed it all out of shape, but looks like a bullet to me. Our culprit's wielding some sort of firearm. A firearm, did you say? Oh. Thickly painted noblewoman. Has there been yet another crime committed by those horrible inventions? By the gods, I can scarcely sleep at night for worry. I suspect this is all the fault of Sir Aymric's precious revolution. And who might you be, miss? And what do you mean by another crime? Why, the tales I've heard at high tea this past week would curl your toes. They say a musket-wielding brigand now terrorizes the Western Highlands. Just when the threat of those dragon-loving heretics has finally ended, a new nightmare rises to take their place. Unless you think this some noble lady's fancy, even the traders come to supply the crozier speak of shots echoing in the air near Hemlock. Dreadful, simply dreadful. I understand that our knights must honor their oath to aid foreign nations, but must it come at the cost of keeping order in Ishgard? Look at me. I've become positively flushed. I must retire to my chambers. If she's so thickly painted, I don't think we can tell how flushed she is. Was she out of hearing or somewhat? They slathered that harpy so much as... That slathered harpy didn't so much as glance in my direction. An unfortunate habit of the more traditional highborn, I'm afraid. Such stubborn examples aside, however, your actions have taught many of our nobles the wisdom of heeding the common citizenry. I've not been ignored like that in a while. Well, thank you for the bullets, Sir Knight. Good day to you. She's the thief. Surprise! She's here just to set up that she was the thief all along. As much as I'd like to ignore her ladyship's babbling, it might be worth looking into the rumor of this bandit up near Hemlock. Considering the timing and how the treasury was robbed, it's just too much of a coincidence. We've a couple of leads to follow, eh? Why don't you take the bullet to Stephen Evian and see if he can tell us where it came from? Meanwhile, I'll head to Hemlock and look for anyone who's armed with the carbine or somewhat similar. Come join me once you've done with the bullet. Might be I'll need your help with the search. It's so gray in this town. It is 6 a.m., so I guess it's nighttime right now, but... This game gets so desaturated sometimes and hard to make out. And I'm just like, why? Don't you like colors and graphics? I'm all turned around. Let's just go over here. I'm going to the Sky Seal Manufactory, so instead of trying to go by the map, I should have just clicked on that waypoint like always. I don't know why I did that. There we go. I probably saw one of the zone transition signifiers or something. This town's kind of confusingly split into 2 maps, which is still less than all the starting ones. Zev, how fares the training of our indomitable watch? You have something for me? Yes, this is certainly the remnant of a bullet fired from close range, but more than that I cannot tell you. It may have been made right here in the manufactory, but honestly, there's little difference between our ammunition and the bullets forged in Limsa Lominsa. I am sorry, the deformation makes it impossible to identify an origin with any degree of accuracy. So much for our modern approach to bullets where they're like fingerprints, supposedly. According to forensic stuff I've half paid attention to because I don't care. Near Hemlock. Going off to Falcon's Nest. Would you like more gray? Heaven's Ward was where the story picked up, at least for a bit. Still wasn't quite as impactful as a lot of the stuff that's already been happening in even just the tiny beginnings of Shadowbringers. Things are much more promising looking now. But boy, did I not like that it took place in a snow place. There's a lot of reasons I don't like Skyrim, but one of them is definitely the fact that it takes place in gray, snowy mountains, so the whole game is just hurtful to look at. It's like, I don't want to be here, is a core problem. There's like a fantasticalness to this place and the big crazy geometry of it all and crazy monsters, and also I've pretty much always been able to travel really quickly over it. So I don't have to look at the landscape that much, but the lighting that it gives you, I'm like, this game's grayer than it's ever been before. To its detriment, that is not. Where's my AoE? There we go. Haven't played for a hot minute. Flip. I'll try spinning, that's a cool trick. My thanks. Was paying too much attention to the ground when them beasts came at me. I managed to put down 1 or 2, but... What's that you've got there? A leather collar? Those curs must have been sent to guard the place, though they seemed wild enough to me. I found signs that someone was here, Zev. Could be that her ladyship's brigand is more than empty parlor talk. Let's get back to Broom before we compare notes, though, eh? It's bloody freezing out here. Thank God for teleports. And back to Foundation. Going back to the alley. Right. So what have we got? Did that bullet have a tale to tell? No. It's a bullet. Ah. That's too bad. I thought maybe we could learn where it came from at least. Seems it leaves us chasing after this mystery bandit. Maybe I'll head out to Hemlock again and have another poke around. I'll stick it out here and keep drilling the troops then. You'll be the first to know when we're ready for inspection. We'll make you proud. Don't you worry about that. And don't stay away for too long. We have a thief to catch. Interesting that the stakes immediately rose to the point where we were just not doing the original thing we came here for. It's like, you're gonna go train these troops. I'm like, oh, that sounds boring. Just kidding. It's a thief. I have somewhat to share with you, Zev. I pulled a scrap of parchment from a campfire I found by Hemlock, and the bits that weren't blackened and burnt were an interesting read. Seems it was a contract of some sort, promising the sale of a historically significant blade to a certain Laminson merchant. I'll give you one good guess as to what bloody blade it's referring to. That Laminson bloke never gives a name, but he's infamous for building a trade empire on the ashes of the Calamity. There's rumors aplenty as to why the shifty bugger's so successful, and not a few of them point to a profit made from the black market goods. Well, it turns out that this infamous merchant was stopped at a checkpoint on the border. The Temple Knights there were keeping an eye out for the stolen sword and reported that the trader was last seen making for Boulder Downs. That seems to match up with what we read in the contract, eh? We need to find that merchant and wait until the thief shows up with the blade. What say you both? I can count on you to come along, right? Now you just hold on there, miss. I took your instructor job, but that doesn't mean you can drag me into the fray to wipe your goddamn arses. No one's saying you have to do any fighting. Think it as a chance to train us in the field, even if you might need to dodge a bullet or two. Why do I let myself get roped into these messes? Well, seeing as the merchant's given me homeland a bad name, I suppose I can help you this one time. I better see you out there too, Zev. That's settled then. Get your kits and meet us out near Boulder Downs. And we're back out there. Right now we're going way out there, ain't we? There we go. Thank God for flying on terrifying dire wolves that run on the sky. Normal video game with normal character models. That's far enough away that I might have been able to take a shortcut from one of the nearby zones. I don't know. Whoa! Oh. Okay, that's like a ruin. You can imagine how I saw this and thought it was broken geometry, like I glitched through the wall or something. I thought this was like the underside of the mountain with semi-transparent textures. Now seeing the inside. Okay, no, that's, yeah, it's just, these are ruins. Okay. It looks so strange because it looks like it's similar to the walls of the mountain. And it has the snow coverage and everything, just a slightly different color. So I thought I was seeing something absolutely wild. Not you. Oh, goddammit. We found the merchant, Zev. He's out there doing a deal as we speak. But first we need to make sure his customer is the thieving bastard we're looking for. Syme, grab another hound and sniff out the situation. It's the dogs, get it? They do sniffies. You'd best go too, Zev, just in case them pups are under somewhat they can't handle. Also, you're the protagonist and the story only moves when you're observing it. If Syme fouls this up, be sure to give him a good smack across the snout for me. This is a lot of furry speak for regular humanoids. What? Hilda doesn't trust us or something? After all the drills Rosenthal's put us through, I reckon we can manage a bit of spying. Look at this red. Look at all this red here. Just like picks up the snow with my finger, licks it. It's salt. Are you certain of this? As I recall, the client requested that hunting be delivered directly upon its acquisition. Aye, that was the deal. We delivered the sword, but then our client, as you say, turned around and gave it right back. Change a bleeding heart or somewhat. I don't know. Look, can you fence the thing or not? That's the jacket I wanted to wear on my character, but my hair clips to the... Hey, I can probably wear it now, actually. Because I have short hair now. I just thought about that. Yes? Yes, I'm sure we can come to an equitable arrangement. That wasn't his voice at all. There's too many characters. I'm getting overwhelmed. Aye, this is the bloke. Yes, ma'am, he's got the sword. Understood? So stealthy. Hilda's getting ready to charge in. We wait here for the rest of the hounds. The Sacred Blade Hunting. An impressive piece, heavy with history and tradition. It should fetch a fine price with the right buyer. Well, thank the good bloody gods for that. Now about our share. I've got somewhat to share with you right here, brigand. Where's your shirt? Who in the bloody hells are you? Hilda's hounds. We uphold the law in Ishgard, and you are all suspects in the theft of the Sacred Blade Hunting. We have guns. Ishgardian soldiers. I'll not risk my life against you fanatics. He just dropped it. Get back here, you coward. Ugh. I don't know how you found us, but you're not leaving here alive. You're gonna bring in more people real quick, because you got to a bad start otherwise. Wait, alone? Okay, now there's all the other guys. Oh my god! Okay. Would y'all like more AoE? Got him. The mongrel had enough yet? Is that the villain? Because oh, you're the mongrel. Okay. Hilda is. Here, the new play bait for you. Have fun. Okay. Pew 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 pew.
I see you.
Turn out how you expected to. This will not. One shot, one kill. Look at these melee people chasing me. They're not doing a very good job.
Let's finish it.
Ah! Made it. Oh. Oh, I shouldn't have come back in. Whoops. I thought when I see a big circle, I try to avoid it. And I guess I should have stayed out, because then I just screwed myself by coming back in at that point. No, his health is so high, I don't really see how I would have killed him in time. It would be nice if anybody else, like, aggroed one of these melee guys that are chasing me forever. Please. Is Rosenthal even doing anything? Yeah, I guess he swings sometimes. Okay, maybe we'll make it this time. It's getting close. Oh. I'm frozen in the sky. Yeah, I should just AoE these guys down sooner. They're so much easier to kill than the actual big guy. My allies should have had it, but they just weren't helping. Y'all have guns. What's your excuse? The lads are still after the bandit chief himself, but it looks like we've got this lot sorted. We'll march him back to Ishgard, squeeze him for information, then hand him over to Muscadine. We did it, Zev. We got the sword back. The hounds have done well, eh? The hounds have done very well. Thanks, Zev. That means a lot coming from you. Could have shot the people that were chasing me while I pretty much single-handed took out the co-earl, but, you know. Well, of course they've bloody done well. They've gotten me to train them. Sorry, Hilda, but the leader's gone. Seems the bastard had a chocobo hidden nearby. He was in the saddle and away before we could catch him. How did we lose him? Well, there's naught to be done about it. The blade's ours now, in any case, so let's call this one a victory. Time to head home. Alright, it was the co-earl. Right, they ran away while the co-earl thing was happening. Might be. Zev, hang around a bit, would you? There's something we need to discuss. When he was fighting them bandits, I got a glimpse of the leader's weapon, and I reckon I might know where he got it from. But I'll need to do some snooping around here before I'm certain. Old habits die hard, I guess. Anyway, do me a favor and tell Hilda that I'll be taking some time off until I've satisfied my curiosity. He's gonna get to the core of this here mystery. I'm a little surprised that Release the Hounds was not a quest they'd already used, a quest thing they'd used up. Unless this game has duplicates. Like with their penchant for puns and whatnot and turns of phrases, I think World of Warcraft eventually just reuses quest names across different expansions. Like, well. Like, it's been 20 years. Do we really need unique names every single time? Welcome back, Zev. But where's Rosenthal? I thought he was with you. Taking time off to chase after a hunch. What the hell is that old pirate up to? I guess we'll just have to muddle along without him while he's looking into the firearm business. Besides, I'll be lying if I said I wasn't a bit curious about it myself. What about you, Zev? Come back to the broom while you can. And it might have a tale to tell. Where have you been, Zev? I've been itching to open this letter from Rosenthal, but he's addressed it to you. Come on, let's hear what he has to say. Mystery solved. I took a good look at Naldik and Vilmeli's stock, and the firearm's one of theirs. Limsa has some bloody strict regulations on the export of firearms, so our bandit chief must have had a back alley supplier. Get your arse to Limsa, and we'll find out who put that weapon in our thief's hands. I'll be at the Aetherite in the lower decks. Rosenthal. So he's on the trail then. Good. Let's just let me get my gear and we can be off. What? You're going with Zev? Is that really a good idea? I'm with Sim on this one, Hilda. If the leader of the hounds starts picking quarrels in foreign soil, we could be looking in all sorts of trouble for Ishgard. Ishgard's where the bloody trouble started, and since we have folk in Broom been content to sit back and let others handle the dirty... And since when have folks in Broom have been content to sit back and let others handle the dirty work? I'm going and that's the end of it, but I promise I'll be on my best behavior. Or else. Right. Ba-doop. What quest level? Oh, 68. Okay. I wasn't noticing any more of those prompts. I was getting prompts about what level these quests are, like 63 and stuff like that. And they stopped happening, so I was like, damn, is this all level 63? It's gonna be a long chain. Oh, we're up to 68 already. Oop, it's just right here. I guess since it's April, this is just unrelated. Easter, yeah, there's Easter stuff everywhere. It looked like he made a mess of the stuff and was being chastised over it. What in the bloody hells is she doing here? I put your bleeding name on the letter and all. I need to see this through. I need to see this through. If I don't, then what are the hounds good for? You'll just have to humor me. I was aiming to avoid political complications, seeing as Zev and me ain't tied too tightly to any one nation. You're just lucky I have a soft spot for fools who would ignore the risks to make a point. Let's get to it then. The bloke most likely to have supplied that firearm is the same bastard what tried to buy the sword. Our black marketeer friend. If we're lucky, we might have an idea to where the brigands went off to. I have a mind to squeeze him until an answer pops out. I'd like to have a word or two with the bandit leader myself. He's a loose end what needs tying up. And we're on the same page. According to me sources, we should find the merchant and the anchor yard. Let's go over there and get this business over with. Where? Oh god. This whole area is just so dense with icons. Let's see here. There's the anchor. It's by the aft castle. I was starting to worry I wasn't going to see it anywhere. Wow, this place is heavy on the Easter stuff. I have not been here lately. Did I go to the wrong place? Oh, this might be the closest one. I have not come to Limps often, but I think it's like the most popular social location in the game. Maybe because it's all brightly lit. Well, if it isn't the hounds, was it? What can a humble peddler such as myself do for Ishgard's finest? Help us capture the bandit leader. I am but a humble merchant. Surely I would be more hindrance than help in such an investigation. If you're not feeling helpful, then maybe I should pay a visit to the Yellow Jackets and mention the firearm your valued customer was using. Or maybe I'll just skip straight to them as upholds the code. Now let us not be too hasty. Mayhap I can make an exception to this case in exchange for your silence regarding my trade in exotic weapons. I believe the gentleman in question has a camp at Providence Point in the Central Highlands. That is where I would look. Providence Point, eh? Well, it's a start. If you're playing us false, I'll be back to feed the crabs with their lying tongue. In fact, if I ever hear you dealing in stolen goods again, you can add a few more body parts to that list. Nice doing business with you. Haha, you will be eviscerated, teehee. Drawn and quartered, ooh. And we're back. If you think it's too cold around here, I am covered in fur. But it is why I'm blue. New lore that I'll never acknowledge again. Where the heck? There you are.
What? How did you... You've signed your own death warrant coming here.
Ah! Oh, these ones have way less health. That one's not even aggroing. Alright, I'm also not level locked. Although they are almost my level. But almost ain't good enough. No, don't click on the NPC. Oh, I'm getting stunned. Got him. This feels a little under-implemented as a quest. I say that because when you look at this place, there's no signs. Like, I could see that maybe this entire ruin was the hangout of his gang. But there's nothing here signifying that anyone has been here. It's completely empty. It's so clean and flat. So that makes it look like it's just his hangout. Like he just has, like his quote-unquote camp that he supposedly has is a fireplace. He has one fire pit and a bag. Okay. If you have that little of a camp, that would imply that you're mobile. He doesn't even have a tent. He has no shelter in this blizzard. How did the merchant know that he had a camp here? When the merchant was all the way in Limsa Lominsa? Presumably like days of travel away if you don't have teleporting? Like, he just does not have a camp. Like, this is so... Just having a fire is not a camp. That would, like, this would imply that he's super mobile and he'd be all over the place instead of just in these ruins specifically. So it's just kind of dumb. Anyway.
Gods, no. You've killed me, precious.
I came running when I heard the shots, but it seems you had things well in hand.
Oh, bugger me. There's more of you. Please, I'll do anything you ask, just don't kill me. Stop your blubbering, cur. We ain't gonna kill you. Not just yet, Road. That'll depend on the answers you give us.
Answers? What's he on about, Zev? The reason behind Hrunting's theft. They wanted to sell it for coin, of course. But then why only steal the sword, eh? Them other brigands we captured were bloody clueless. They only knew what the job was, not the who or the why.
Meaning the whole deal was made to this bastard. Start barking, dog, and you might just save your own hide. We was pirates once. That is until the bitch admiral passed her bloody law. Blokes like us, though, we ain't cut out for honest work.
Sure it is. Sure you are. It's easy.
We'd almost drunk through the last of our plunder when the back alley peddler showed up and with some overpaid wench. She said she'd a job for us. All we had to do was filch a special sword from the Holy See. Ha! For the purse she offered, we'd have stolen the whole bleeding vault.
And who was this woman? The painted lady from earlier.
Part of the deal was we didn't ask no questions. Even the merchant didn't know her real name. It was odd, aye, but we needed the coin and I didn't rightly care either way. The job itself was easy as taking a piss. She even paid me to have a firearm to use and sent us down a route where we didn't see no guards. Though the gods only know how she managed that trick. All we did was follow her map, then shoot the locks in the vault. Walked in, grabbed the sword, walked out. Bold as you please. The trouble came after the delivery was made. She gave the blade back to you. Aye. She sent for me again the day after, pushed the sword back into me hand along with the sack full of coin. She said she'd made a mistake or somewhat, and that I should sell the damn thing. Well, I ain't fool enough to try fencing a relic like that on me own, so I went back to the merchant. You were fool enough not to properly burn your contract of sale. How do you think we found you the first time? Contract of sale? What the hell's you talking about? You think I'd leave a deal like that in ink for the whole world to see? So the painted lady intentionally wanted him to get caught. Things are starting to make sense now. There's just one little problem with your story. I've told you the truth, I swear. It was that wench that what put us up to it. Aye, that bit I believe. What catches in me craw is her reason for handing back the sword. That was no mistake, and finding that contract of sale this bastard says he never wrote was no mistake neither. No. We was led to the nose to reclaim hunting before it was sold. And the quickest way to learn the why of it might be to ask the blade itself. Would you mind carrying this piece of offal back to Ishgard, Rosenthal? Come with me, Zev. We need to pay a visit to Muscadane and convince him to take a closer look at the sword. Oh. Is the sword a replica? Is it a fake out? Did they steal the real sword and then give back a replica to be sold on the black market to throw off the trail? I figured they gave it back because the clearly telegraphed painted lady just wants us to get caught. Because then the supposed low-born gunslinger can then tarnish the name of both the manufactory and the low-born together. Because she sucks. The end. Master Zev, how may I, you again. Was there some choice insult you'd forgotten to spit at me during your previous meeting? Truce, Muscadane. I wouldn't be here if it weren't important. I see. So you believe that hunting may have been altered in some fashion before you were allowed to reclaim it? It's a bit too bloody convenient, don't you think? Maybe I'm wrong, but I'd rather look the fool than risk somewhat happening at the ceremony. We need to check that sword. I must admit, your passion confounds me. The blade is recovered and your hounds have done their duty. Why bother pursuing such a faint suspicion? Why willingly endure the presence of a man you so clearly despise? Oh, I ate your bleeding guts. But once we take on a job, we do the damn thing right. Zev gave his all to save Ishgard. How could I look him in the eye if I let our petty feud get in the way of my duty? Such pride. I've not seen this side of you before. It is as you say. If there truly is some flaw or trickery in the blade that disrupts the ceremony, the consequences could be grave indeed. And yet there are rules in place which prevent me from simply handing hunting over to the hounds. Furthermore, our resident blacksmith has already inspected the recovered weapon and declared it sound. Even so, we should...
Even so, I will call upon Lord Stephenavian to conduct an independent examination. A machinist may notice a detail that a blacksmith would overlook. I trust this could be accomplished by the requisite discretion. Very good. As far as the release of fronting is concerned, the manufactory is a sanctioned facility. The bureaucrats will be satisfied even should I secure the necessary permissions after the fact. I shall begin making the arrangements. Well, that's that then. Let's get back to the broom and tell the news to Rosenthal. Back to the broom. Why don't we meet Rosenthal at the manufactory? Y'all sure love hanging out in this alley with nothing in it. This dead end, I mean. Not the whole alley. Muscadane's not known for his love of the lowborn. I didn't expect he'd just... I thought I'd have to put up more of a fight, is what I'm saying. Well, the sword's with the manufactory now, so I have no complaints. That's where I'd meant to take it in the first place. Now we wait. But don't get too comfortable, Zev. Things are sure to come to a head soon enough. At level 870, yep. We just had a messenger from the manufactory. Seems they've finished looking over the sword. Let's head on over and see what Lord Stephenavian has to say. Kind of just giving up on that guy's name. There's so many ways that it might be pronounced. Good thing he's not the most commonly named character in the entirety of Machinist quests. Oh no. All the relevant parties appear to be present. If you would, Lord Stephenavian. Very well. I'll cut to the point. I recovered a small bomb concealed inside the hilt of the sword. But this particular explosive was part of a batch intended for Temple Knight training purposes. It is designed to detonate from a distance. I won't bore you with the specifics, but I assure you that I'm quite familiar with its capabilities. After all, I was the one who made it. Bloody hells. Someone went to a lot of trouble to sneak that bomb into the ceremony. An assassination attempt? Unlikely. As I said, these bombs were designed for training exercises. Even if you were grasping the hilt when it exploded, you wouldn't even lose a finger. Some nasty burns at the worst. That would be more than enough. If the sacred blade were to be dropped during the investitures, many in the crowd would interpret it as a sign from their fury. The Lord Commander's authority would come into question, and responsibility for the incident would fall squarely upon the hounds. Someone wishes to discredit the watch beyond salvation. That would explain the ridiculous rumors presently circulated amongst the lords and ladies. Rumors? What rumors? Why, that Hunting's theft and recovery was orchestrated entirely by the watch itself. Some of the more impressionable members of the nobility are convinced that you armed bandits with firearms, instructed them to steal the sword, then captured them yourselves to elevate your standing. Then the mood's already sour and simmering. If the sword exploded on top of that, it'd be like throwing oil on the fire. Reason be damned, it'd be the watch's heads on the chopping block. Who could have instigated the gossip behind these baseless accusations? I ordered the events surrounding Hunting's theft to be kept in the strictest of confidences. That means it's the person who did it. The woman who arranged the theft. Well, she would know all about it, wouldn't she? I suspect this villainess fears the threat of the status quo. and the high profile of the hounds has made you a target. A strike against you is a strike against the idea of any commoner bearing the power of a firearm. I am flattered to know we've become so important, but you picked the wrong pack of dogs to corner. Now it's our turn to go on the hunt. Going after the mastermind, eh? I'm all for a bit of retribution, but we'll need a better description than over-painted wench. Fortunately, my perspective meter and I are one step ahead of you this time. As soon as I discovered the bomb, I set to work crafting a device that would help us pinpoint the location of its paired detonator, and thus lead us directly to the one who holds it. I propose we simply proceed with the ceremony as planned, and catch this fool red-handed. Not a bad plan, as long as we're prepared for any accomplices she might have lurking around with her. The ceremony is almost upon us. Let us steel ourselves for the task ahead. We'll sort out our strategy, then head back to the broom. Meet us there when you're ready, Zev. I had it all figured out a while ago, but it's nice that they eventually caught up. Oh, I see what the entire plot is. Time to explain it slower than I already did. Now the plaza. That's the one you gotta go to. Obviously. Wee! Ooh. Ow! Right, Zev, the ceremony's about to begin. Here's the plan. Muscadet and other hounds will be handling security as scheduled, so as not to arouse suspicion. We reckon the lady will have someone watching the proceedings, ready to tell her the best moment to detonate the little bomb. Likely right as the blade rests on an initiate's shoulder. That's how I do it anyhow. The watcher should be too hard to spot, and the hounds can nab him before he gets away. Meanwhile, we'll be waiting at St. Valeroyant's forum with Stephanievian's device, ready to move as soon as we're sure of the detonator's location. Bring your best ammunition, Zev. If this woman can organize a clear route through the vault, then she's like to have worse than a few ragged bandits at her side. Level sync. Oh no, I'm losing 2 levels. What am I gonna do? So supremely disappointed. This device is less portable than I expected. What's taking so long, boss? The ceremony's already begun. Some quiet, if you will. If I can catch the exact moment the detonator is activated. I have it. The signal came from the far edge of Broom. Smug bastards are hiding right in our home territory. Right then, we'd best go and give them a proper bloody welcome. Yep, it's exactly who I thought it was. Economical storytelling and all that. This is Melissae. Is the crowd enjoying our little What? Nothing? Not even a puff of smoke? Surprise! We found your bomb. The hounds. I know you. You're that noble bitch who had ignored me outside the vault. In the right place at the right time to plant that bandit rumor, eh? And I suppose you was the one who penned the contract of sale, too. What nonsense is this? I've no memory of fraternizing with commoners. Ha! Got your attention this time, didn't I? A good thing, too, since I have a wagon load of questions for you. Here's one. Are your inquisitive friends that they're going to come quietly?
You and your hounds will be the only ones surrendering their arms this day. Not only have you interfered with official inquisitorial business, you've also insulted and accused an innocent member of the nobility. Mayhap a spell in the dungeons will remind you of your station. Now see here, the hounds have solid evidence that these individuals are party to a serious crime. Speak with Sir Muscadine, and all will be explained. Ah, and now we meet the rest of the rats. If you was wondering how the noble wench got a hold of a training bomb and cleared a route through the vault for them bandits, then here's your answer. I reckon they'd show their whiskers sooner or later. You're sworn to protect Ishgard, and you choose to throw your lot in with this highborn dolt. Sir Aymric's fighting to keep the city from tearing itself apart. Why don't you just stab a blade in his back while you're at it? The time for empty bravado has passed, child. We are not common savages. Give yourself up, and I promise you shall live to see the morrow. Ha! You can stick that promise right up your ass. That common enough for you? Gasp! Snapped back. This is over. In our authority as Ishgard's watch, we're taking you in for the crimes of larceny, insurgency, and general bloody idiocy. Time it is to dunk on some fools. Wow, they're everywhere. Okay. Oop. Nope. Spellcasters first, please. I switched targets to my crit to make sure I took out the weaker one, or the one that had full health. That was about to obliterate the other one way too quickly. Damn, they're going down quick. Co-whirls they were not. That went well. Wait, where's the noblewoman? Bah! The wench must have slipped away while we were in the thick of it. She can't have gotten far. You guys never watch out for the person that wants to not get caught. Oh, she did not get far at all. There! She flees towards the Ark. Zev? Come on, you lot. After her. Aid, Sir Knight. I know not their grievance, but these lowborn ruffians seek to cause me harm. Let us dispense with the theatrics, Baroness Melissae. After capturing your accomplice at the ceremony, it was surprisingly easy to prize free the details of your plan. You've sided with these common curs? I thought you a proud member of the nobility. As one of the chosen few, how can you countenance any act that places power in the filthy hands of the broomborn? The chosen few. An accident of birth allowed us the privilege to fight for our nation, and I, for one, welcome our new comrades in arms. Your actions brand you an enemy of Ishgard, and you will pay for your crimes. Did you just draw a wrench? This is blasphemy. I am an inquisitor. You betray your bloodline, and thus it falls to me to excise the corruption seeping into our nation's veins. He has a super distinct appearance.
I'd expect her to be like an important character in the main story or something. Like, she's so recognizable for a character that shows up in like 2 cutscenes. Time to explode her. Oh, she's transforming. That's a trick. Unfortunately, I don't have an overdrive meter to build up, or limit break meter to throw out some big hits. There's no big climactic move to build up to.
Let's finish it.
Just keep spinning. Almost there. Maybe one more combo. Or she's gonna win early. Ah! Oh, she defeated everybody. But not I. She is tall. And is finished. The Baroness and her cronies believe that none of the nobility are fit to lead Ishgard's people. They resented efforts to bring highborn and lowborn closer in standing, and to it seemed the Hound's formation was too great a threat to be endured. All we want's a little respect and the strength to defend our home. What are they so bloody afraid of? They fear the erosion of their status, and I must confess to feeling a whisper of that unreasoning terror. Had I succumbed to my jealousy and hate, I may have joined them upon their twisted path. Kind of baffling ear pat. This isn't even like a circlet or a headband, it's just like an earpiece thing that kind of wraps around his forehead. But I had misjudged you. I believed you so reviled the circumstances of your birth that you sought only to bring ruin upon Ishgard. Until recently, you wouldn't have been far off the mark, but it was Zev and Sir Aymeric who convinced me that fighting for change was a damn sight more worthwhile than adding to the misery. Indeed. Pray forgive the barbs I have slung at you and your hounds, Captain. I have been blind to the courage and determination of the common folk, and I humbly request that the Watch continue to aid us in defense of the city. You didn't deserve all the spite I spat at you, neither. I see his face when I look at you, and I just can't bloody help myself. I'll try to work on that too. I'll try to work on that, though, eh? Wow, they were equally in the wrong. They weren't, though. One of them was suppressing the other one class-wise, and the other one didn't have a say in that and did not opt into that arrangement. I must go now and see the processing of the prisoners. Be well, sister. Sister? Bum, bum, bum. They were related all along. You are siblings, then? I was unaware that you and Sir Muscadine were so closely connected. Left that part out, did I? Aye, he's my half-brother, born to another woman after my darling dad cussed my mom back into the streets.
Well, that ain't anything what you just blurt out now, is it?
Not someone I bring up often, no. And I don't reckon Muscadine was too keen on declaring his relationship to the Mongol, especially after he'd inherited the old man's estate.
Well, might be as you can put that bad blood behind you now. Better than drowning in it, any road.
It's all the more damning that they were related.
Might be as you're right, Rosenthal. A most admirable woman you've become, my dear. Not to mention a champion of the people of the broom. It seems I was right to put that firearm in your hand. And I thank you for taking that gamble. You gave me more than just a weapon that day. You gave me control over my fate. If it weren't for you, I'd likely still be scrounging in the street and cursing at the sky.
'Tis gratifying indeed to see how far you've come. Now I really must return to the workshop. This mountain of commissions only grows larger the longer I neglect it. As Joy would so sharply remind me. We'd best get back to Broom ourselves. Syme and Ustan would be wondering what's become of us. Now where am I? Okay, I'm back here.
Yep.
Time of day changed abruptly. Complain directly to the most comically incorrect person to complain to. The sword's been returned, the Baroness is in fetters, and the hounds have shown themselves to be a force to be reckoned with. Happy endings all around, eh? Your lads and lasses was a bit rough to start with, but I can't rightly call them pups anymore. You'll do fine without us, I'd say. What? So you're both leaving then? I thought you'd have a few more tricks to share. Don't start whining now, lass. We've given you the tools and the foundation. You can build the rest of the bleeding house yourself. Aye, that we can. Thank you. Alright, let's not get all bloody sentimental then. I'm off. Fair winds to you, Zev. Bye-bye. Oh, thanks to you as well, Zev. Come back and visit when you can. I'm sure the hounds will have some new stories to tell. We've done the thing now. I'd like to rest my voice. Flamethrower. This concludes the Machinist quest for Stormblood. See you next expansion. I'm probably qualified for it by now. Nope, it's not listed up there. Maybe not. I still need to get some. There's still some things on my bar that I need to go and put on other bars. Womp womp. I think I have a few different abilities that I just don't have mapped right now that I should probably be using. Anyway, I warped back here with the purpose being to use my flamethrower. So I have drill. I have drill and bioblaster and flamethrower. That's interesting. I know all of those buttons from PvP. Those are the buttons you have in that, I think. In fact, I think you rotate between all of them in like a chain of some kind. PvPing is actually pretty frustrating as this character. I had to grind to get that one gear set I wanted. Drill. Oh, flamethrower. I missed everything. I guess Bioblaster's on a shared cooldown with the other abilities. There's Bioblaster. You all died of poop. The end. Bye. Maybe if I was standing still, we would have seen a similar arc from the flamethrower, or maybe it was a channeled ability. They're supposed to hold down. Delivers damage over time to all enemies in a cone before you. Duration 10 seconds. Okay, so you have to not move. My bad. We'll wait for it to come back. But it looks like I have to cast that and stand still. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my god. 10 seconds is a while. This is quite the AoE actually. God damn. I'll have to set it up on one of these like other like double tap buttons. I'm running out of buttons. These bars are pretty full. I just need to properly set up whatever page that is to have more of these things. So I can use some fun tricks. And then I have to try to remember what those buttons are later. When we do our one fight every 3 hours.